the stars come to shine when it's dark from so far away. Show us where we are. What makes the sun go to...
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an exciting video because I am looking at all of my books on my bookshelf and doing a unhaul. This is going to be kind of a two-part. This first part of the video is going to be me talking about all of the books that I am unhauling that I have had on my bookshelf starting in 2024. And then the second part is going to be me driving around looking to see if I can find any of the little libraries around my local area. I have never visited a little library that is kind of scattered throughout the cities. So I want to look to see if I can find a couple, look to see what books are there, if there's anything that is kind of appealing to me, and then take these books that I'm going to unhaul and put them in those little libraries. So if you'd be interested to see what I am unhauling and me stopping by those little libraries, then go ahead and keep watching. So I did a video at the end of 2023, basically talking about all of the books that I currently have on my bookshelf, what I have unread, all of the physical books on my TBR, and honestly, I don't remember what that total was. Let's see. Hold, please. Okay, so in that video, which is all the books on my physical TBR and my bookshelf tour, I had at the time 214 books on my actual bookshelf. And of the 214, I had unread 47% of them. That was before Christmas and before I did a big haul in the month of December. So that is where we're starting at. We're starting at 214 books, 47% unread. Now with this unhaul, I did go on to my Notion, created a new page that lists all of the books that I have on my TBR or on my bookshelf after removing these books that we're going to talk about. And after removing all of these books, which will now include all of the stuff I got for Christmas, I have a total of 204 books on my bookshelf. So there's 10 less books now. But even with 10 less books, I have not read 46.6%, so 47% of my books. So that is what we're going to go into 2024 with. So we're starting this year with 204 books on my bookshelf right now, not including what we're unhauling. And we're going to see at the end of the year, when I do my updated physical TBR, like bookshelf video, then we're going to hopefully, I'm going to have that I have read my goal. I'm going to make this a goal for me for 2024. I want to have on my bookshelf 75% of the books that are here, I want to have said that I have read. I started out that I have not read 47%. I now want the end of the year to be me saying that I have not read, of all the books on my bookshelf at the end of the year, I still have 25% that I have to read. So that's my goal. That's what we're going to work with. Now that we have that discussion done, we're going to talk about these books. So part of them if you watch that what's on my physical TBR / bookshelf tour, I had mentioned that I don't count the middle grade books that I have on my bookshelf that was kind of being stored for my daughter. I have decided now I'm just going to get rid of them because since we've moved here for 2 years, I've had these books upstairs in my office. She has not once wanted to come up and read them. So I'm just going to get rid of them. If she wants to read new books, we can find new books. So we're just getting rid of them. So these first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books, they were not part of the original 214 book count on my first video. These were not counted, but I'm gonna walk you through what books I'm going to be donating to the little library. So we have one of those like choose your adventures. This is Terror on the Titanic. We have Walk to Moons, Miss Frizzoli and the Rats of Nim. We have book 7 of the series of Unfortunate Events. We have book 8 of that same series, and then we have book 6. So we have 6, 7, and 8 that we're going to get rid of. We also have Wonder, and then we have Which Way is Home. So those are all the like middle grade books that they weren't part of my count to begin with, but my daughter has not read them. I don't foresee her wanting to read them, so we're just going to donate them, and maybe someone will enjoy them instead. Now we're going to talk about the books that I did have on my bookshelf that I was planning on reading or I purchased to read, and I've not gravitated toward them, or I really don't remember why I decided to buy them to begin with. So the first few books, actually I have a few books in here that are popular books and I just don't care for them. So the first one I'm going to get rid of is Daisy Jones and the Six. I have read this. This is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I will say this book, I prefer the movie or the TV show instead of the book. I've realized I'm just not a Taylor Jenkins Reid fan. This was a more interesting read because it is written in like an interview style. So instead of like the description and like a normal book, this actually has like what Daisy said in an interview and what Billy said in an interview. So it was entertaining that way, but it's just, I didn't care for some of the stuff they talked about in this book, and I'm just not a fan of Taylor Jenkins Reid. We also have, which I need to take out the tab. We have Song of Achilles. This was I kind of liked this book. I'm not familiar with the Achilles storyline, but I did enjoy reading it, but I know I'm never going to go back to want to reread this book, so there's really no need for me to keep it on my bookshelf. It wasn't anything that I was super excited about or really wanted to keep just to reminisce on the story, so we're just going to let someone else take a crack at that one. We have The Haunted. I honestly don't know why or where this came from. It has a Walmart price, but I don't remember buying this at Walmart. So I really have no idea where this came from, but we're just going to go ahead and maybe let someone else read it. We have, I need to take the tabs off of these. We have the first 2 books of the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I read the first one and it was okay. And so I ended up picking up the second one, and I don't care to read it now. It's not anything that I really have thought about. I have no desire really to reread it. So I'm just going to take all these little tabs off, and book 1 and book 2 will be donated, and maybe someone else might enjoy the story. Like I said, it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't anything that I don't need to have it on my bookshelf. And then we have Asylum. I think I got this because my daughter was needing to read a book for school, and for some reason we decided to pick this up, but this is going to be another one that she's never going to want to read. I'm never really going to want to read, so whatever. We have the first book of the One for the Money, like the Janet Ivanovich. I got this because my mother-in-law really liked, I saw her reading several of the books in this like series, and I've had this for a couple years. I read it. It was good, but it's just not something that I foresee me wanting to read later or again. I have The Island by Elin Hilderbrand. I tried to read this, and I don't even know how far I got. I think I maybe have gotten 50% in, and I had to DNF it because I did not care about the characters. It was in third person, and I didn't care for the story. I might end up trying to read another Elin Hilderbrand book again, but this time I'll just get it at the library, just so that way if I like it, then that's great, but if I don't like it, I can just return it. Secrets That We Bury. This was I think I tried to read this as well, and I got DNF'd. I couldn't do it. I think this is another like young adult type story, and I didn't care for it. We have All Together Now. I think I found this at the dollar store. And so I was like, oh, it's $1.25. I'll just go ahead and pick it up. It's got a Netflix series or Netflix film attached to it. But I've had this for a while and have no desire to read it. Same thing with The Fury. I bought this and it was actually $2.25. And it was a trilogy and fantasy, I guess. I don't care. We have another dollar store book. This one got me because it had like the way it's written. Like you read this page like this and then it's got all sorts of different things to it. So this is upside down. I thought it was different, but no. We have The Unquiet Heart. This was another dollar store. I like historical, like, mystery. This said it's a gothic murder mystery, but again, I have had this, never really decided to read it. This is another dollar store book. I like Stan Lee, and I like the comics and stuff, but I don't foresee me wanting to read it. I've had it for a while. What You Left Me. I think this is another one that I tried to read. I DNF'd it. It was like a young adult, I think, and I just couldn't get in. I couldn't get it. It wasn't for me. We have a George Mann. This is comics, I guess. I don't know. Decided not to read that. Another dollar store book. And then we have two more Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've read both of them, and they're just not my jam. I'm not going to want to read them again. We have Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Everyone loved this book, but it was okay. Malibu Rising was probably my favorite of all the Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, but it still wasn't anything that I was like, I want to keep this on my shelf. I want to read it again. So that is all of the books that we are going to be donating to the little library, and we are going to we'll probably end up doing that tomorrow, and we'll see if there's any books in the little library that I decide to take while I am donating some of these books. So we are going to store these and do that tomorrow. All right, so we're back. I have taken all of the books that I have determined that I wanted to unhaul for 2024, and I went to two different little libraries in my area, and I'll say I was actually really surprised at the quantity of books that were at both of these little library locations. There weren't any books that I wanted to read. They just didn't. There were a couple of them, I will say, that looked interesting, but not enough for me to put in my bookshelf and put them on my physical TBR to be read, just because I did not want to just overly increase the number of books when they weren't something that I really wanted to read right away. So I left them there, but I did go ahead and donate about half of the books that I had to those two little library locations. The other half of my books I'll probably just end up donating at a Goodwill location in my area as well. Just that way I can kind of spread them out for as many people who would like to read them. So the first little library that I went to, it had so many books that the person who owns that little library changed the overall look and the size of that little library location from a normal, it's a square with a glass door with maybe one or two shelves inside, and that's where all the books go. And there were so many books that people were dropping off and taking, and the back and forth like a library. They had to change it into a 4-drawer cabinet, and there were a lot of books in there. They had them broken out between adult, I think it was adult, young adult, children's, and pre-K or something like that. So there were a ton of books there. So I dropped off some of my books for the middle grade. I moved those to the children's section, and then the other little library that I went to, it seemed to have more of the adult type books there. So I added some of my other adult books and fiction books to that location. And then everything that I have left over, I think I probably have about 10 books or so left over that I was not able to put in either one of those locations, and I will end up dropping them off at a local Goodwill. So I was pleasantly surprised at the little libraries that are immediately in my area. And so with that, that is going to be it for this video. I am super excited to start 2024, start my bookshelf fresh with just the books that I'm really excited on reading, and then slowly throughout the year increasing my books to the other, I know there's some new releases that are coming out. I have some other really exciting books that I can't wait to read in 2024. So overall, I'm very excited to see what this year holds. I'm very excited to see what my bookshelf grows into. And yeah, I want to thank you for clicking on this video, for watching to this point. I hope if you have not done so, please make sure you subscribe, and I will see everyone in my next video. Bye.